Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. Recently, I obviously built the most overrated XI. We're here to build the most underrated footballing XI. In the goalkeeping position, I went with Lunin because I think a lot of people understand that Lunin is a good keeper, but I don't think they understand how great Lunin is. That Champions League run he had with Real Madrid, and unfortunately, having to sit out the final for Courtois. I mean, that run, Lunin was so good. Lunin was so good. He was one of the best Madrid players in that knockout stages. And in my opinion, probably better than Courtois, should be the starting goalkeeper at Real Madrid. Just because Courtois, the name, what he's done, he's currently starting ahead of Lunin. But I think Lunin would start for, I don't know, nearly every single club in the world. That's how good Andre Lunin is. Right back position, it was a bit tough. I couldn't think of that many right backs. So I went with Denzel Dumfries. I think that Dumfries, ever since joining Inter Milan as the replacement for Achraf Hakimi, has done a great job in replacing Achraf Hakimi. Obviously not as good as Achraf Hakimi, but he's been very good for Inter Milan. Good every single time I see him with the Netherlands national team. He was very good at the Euros as well. So Denzel Dumfries is the most underrated right back in the world. Moving on to the centre-back position. At the right centre-back position, I went with Pacho. I think that, once again, Pacho has gotten, a prop and applauded for how good he's been this season. But once again, not enough. Like, Pacho has probably been a top 5 centre-back in the world this season for Paris Saint-Germain. And he's performing his absolute best football in the Champions League where it all matters. Like, he's been having so many great performances, locking up Erling Haaland. Whatever he did in the Anfield leg, oof. I think him and Nuno Mendes were probably our man of the matches for the defensive efforts those games. So William Pacho takes the right centre-back position. Next up to him is Inigo Martinez. For me, potentially you could say he has been the best centre-back in the world this season. I think next to him he got Kubarsi, obviously 17, I think, and then from La Masia. So he basically just eats all the PR. If Barca do something good, it's Kubarsi. But you don't hear that about Inigo Martinez. As I said, I think he's been very good for Barcelona, who are obviously competing in every single competition this season. And he just doesn't get the applauded, the prop that, in my opinion, he deserves to get. So I'm going to put Inigo Martinez next to Pacho. For the left back position, I went with an Algerian homeboy, Ait Nouri at Wolverhampton. I remember we were linked to him when he was at Angers. Then he went to Wolves, and he's been sensational for Wolverhampton. Obviously, they have, him and Cunha, but still question marks why Wolves are that down in the table. But I think if you're a big club, if you need the left back, Ait Nouri might potentially be a top 5 left back in the world. So great offensively, great defensively, can invert, can play on the wing. Dangerous player. For the DM position, it's obviously from a club we haven't seen that much, obviously playing in the Premier League and the Conference League. That is Caicedo. I think Caicedo is slowly, steadily living up to, his price tag. Obviously still far away from it. But yeah, he's been a very good and consistent performer for Chelsea this season. Next to him, I'm going to put Palacios from Bayer Leverkusen. I was thinking between him and Hakan Çalhanoğlu, but I think more people rate Hakan than player like Palacios. Once again, Leverkusen, they have a lot of players that eat up PR. You got their wingbacks in Grimaldo and Frimpong. You got Boniface when he does his celebration. Xabi Alonso obviously takes a lot of PR verts as well. But I think Palacios, once again, has been one of the core players in that Leverkusen side. And if you're a top club looking for a midfielder, you can't go wrong with Palacios. Lastly but not least, this guy is an absolute gem, especially whenever I've watched him, and that's Reijnders from AC Milan in the Netherlands. Like, this guy, at least a top 10 midfielder in the world. At least. Like, he's so good. I remember his performance away versus Real Madrid in the Champions League group stage, insane. Every time I watch the Netherlands as well, he's one of their best performers. Like, when you see Reijnders, Leao, and Tia Hernandez, it's actually Reijnders that deserves the big move from AC Milan, because, like, he's a baller. He's a baller. If we didn't have a stacked midfield, I would have loved him at PSG. Maybe I still would have taken him. Up for the attack, Ryan Cherki. Once again, some people rate him, some people will give him the plaudits, but I don't think people understand how great Cherki is and how great Cherki has been this season. He's undoubtedly been a top 5 round winger in this season. It's just that, he plays in the Europa League, so you're not going to get that prop, and obviously also plays in Ligue 1. But Ryan Cherki will 100% get a huge move in the summer. Still, I don't know how he's not playing for the French national team, especially after the season he's having. I mean, Cherki is a essentially generational talent. and I would love Paris Saint-Germain to pick him up. Moving on to the striker position, another Algerian, and that is Mohamed Amoura. He's been, once again, so good for the Algerian national team and so good in the Bundesliga this season. Last season, he was a Royal something, a Belgian club. He was really good, scored versus Liverpool in the Europa League. Went to Wolfsburg and is having a 20-plus GA season already. And he will definitely get a huge move as well in the summer transfer window. Absolute baller. And lastly but not least, I think this will be like people will question it, which is Joshua Zirkzee. Whenever I watch United, like Zirkzee looks like a complete baller. He looks like someone I would take as a backup striker. Like his movement, his fluidity, his 1v1 ability, how he reads the game. He's like a 6 that playing as a striker and then just drops deep to his normal places. Like a wonderful football player. And I think he could be one of the key cornerstones at this United team, playing as a second striker alongside maybe Højlund, or if they buy Gyökeres or someone else. But this is my underrated 11. Lunin in goal, Pacho, Martinez, Aitnori, Dumfries, Caicedo, Palacios, Reyneders, Cherki, Amora, and Zirkzee. Let me know what you would change from this lineup. That's been it from boy PSGINT. And as usual, allez, bye.